Hello aspirants and welcome again to Legacy IAS Academy. In this lecture, we will be discussing about the peace talks that are going to start from today in Egypt. Yes, so who are going to be involved in this peace talks? Of course, Israel will be a party over here. Then Hamas will also be a stakeholder. At the same time, USA is also involved. Along with these three stakeholders, we have Qatar as well as Egypt. Qatar, previously we have done lectures wherein Qatar had become an intermediator between a lot of issues that are going on in the world. So it will be in this case also an intermediator. And since in this peace talk is happening in Egypt, so Egypt will also be involved. So let us see what are the prospects, what all things will be discussed, what all things are present on the table for different stakeholders to accept or reject, and what can be the possible outcome of this peace process. So let's get started with the news. The first things first, the delegations from Israel, from Hamas, as well as from US are due to meet in Cairo for what? For the ceasefire talks. Now, what is the ceasefire all about? So we have a long drawn humanitarian crisis that is going on. Yes, of course, you have seen Israeli strikes, missiles striking the Palestinian region, the Gaza Strip continuously, not just the terrorist outfits or the terrorist infrastructure, but also the humanitarian infrastructure, the hospitals, the aid, and everything is getting destroyed. People are hungry. People have, thousands of people have died, and people do not even have food to eat. The moral high ground that Israel used was the fact that in October, what had happened is Hamas had attacked. So using that as a moral high ground, Israel has now killed thousands of people in the Gaza Strip, and this does not seem to stop. They have also ensured that no humanitarian aid also comes. There is also allegation that they are pumping millions of dollars to ensure that this news of humanitarian things not reaching to the Palestinian is also not in the media. Rather, they are pumping in millions of dollars to showcase as if all the people in the Gaza Strip have food and everything to eat, drink, and sleep properly, which many people are saying is absolutely not the case. So it is probably high time. And in between, of course, Iraq was also involved. Iraq also started attacking Israel, and then USA responded by attacking Iraq. So all this thing has happened. So it is now high time that we talk about the ceasefire. The high time was long back, but at least we are starting to do that right now. So here, the US President Donald Trump has, before the peace talk even started, has warned Hamas of complete obliteration if Hamas rejects its plan. Now, I do understand telling this to a terrorist organization may make sense, but at the same time, the obliteration which is happening presently is not just of the terrorist outfit, but of the innocent civilians as well. So this is the context in which this peace talk is going to take place. So let us see now what is on the table with respect to the peace talk and what can be the possible outcomes. Now, before we move ahead, an important notification about the new batches that is starting in Legacy IAS Academy, which has a maximum of 40 students only, and you will be trained by the experts in the UPSC industry. The new batches, the regular batch is going to start from 16th October, and the weekend batch, which is very good for the working professional and students, which will start from 25th of October. Now, once you enroll with us, there are a lot of advantages that you get. Some of them are listed in front of your screen. My favorite is the one-on-one mentorship in the doubt-solving session, in addition to the regular interactions that you have with the educators that you just saw. Now, in addition to this, you will have the daily mains answer writing practice, the test series, of course, for prelims and mains, and a 360-degree coverage for current affairs, wherein the entire week's current affairs is covered through the live classes by the respective subjects faculty. Now, if you want to enroll with us, simply download our app or log on to our website or call on the numbers that are given over here. Now let's continue with our news. Now before the peace talk starts, US has come up with its 20-point plan. Now in this 20-point plan, it says that there needs to be an immediate ceasefire and halt to Israeli bombing. Israel is bombing left, right, center. That should halt. Ceasefire should happen. No one should be fighting anyone in this scenario, and there needs to be a pullback to a demarcated yellow line. The Israeli military should pull back to a demarcated yellow line. This is what needs to be done. Now, this is majorly from the Israeli side. Now, what from the Hamas side? From Hamas side, there is a requirement to release the 48 hostages, 20 of whom are alive, within the next 3 days. Disarmament means relinquish your arms, right? Disarmament and relinquish the administrative control also over the Gaza Strip. So disarmament can be a concern, because when you're talking about disarmament, you have to surrender your arms, after which you may not be left with arms. So this can be a bone of contention for Hamas, but it remains to be seen as to what will be the bone of contention. But these are the requirements as of now. Then further, you have the transitional authority for Gaza's governance. That means in Gaza Strip, now Hamas is there. Now Israel has encroached. So Israel will pull back, Hamas will disarm. So there needs to be a transitional administrative control, because a vacuum will be created when Hamas is seizing the administrative control. Now, there will be gradual Israeli withdrawal and prisoner exchange. Whatever the prisoners Israel has, they will give it back, and whatever the prisoners Hamas has, they will release them. So this is what is asked, and the Gaza's reconstruction as well as security guarantee and all needs to be ensured. So these are the main points in the US's 20-point plan. Now, who are the mediators and the stakeholders? Mediators, as I said, are Egypt and Qatar. The stakeholders, now USA, of course, is involved, so-called superpower, so is involved definitely. So not a direct stakeholder as well. The major stakeholder is basically the people of Palestine, the state of Palestine, and Israel and its government, army, and even the Israeli citizens, because the hostages that are there with Hamas, they are Israeli citizens, and the family of these Israeli citizens are actually pressuring Israel to come to the table for ceasefire. So hostage issue, the hostages are there. The thousands of civilians that are dying due to the Israeli bombing are, of course, the stakeholders, and the people who are present still alive are also the stakeholders. Now, there is also an international support for this peace talk. 8 Muslim majority nations have backed this ceasefire and talks about the PA's return to Gaza, the Palestinian return to the Gaza. They are favoring the peace talk over here. Now, what is the humanitarian context? Of course, that's the main context over here, wherein, as I said, thousands of lives have already been taken away. Now, these statistics are of the last few days of Sunday, 12 killed on Sunday. But if you look at the long drawn bombing that is going on, thousands have already been killed. Families of hostages, which hostages now? You are talking about the hostages that Hamas has kept with them. The Israeli hostages, their family is actually pressurizing. So that is an element. Maybe the humanitarian element of Israel may not be there, but the element of their own citizens pressurizing the government to go to the table for ceasefire. So this is what the context is for the ceasefire. Now, what is the challenge? The challenge or the skepticism. The challenge is Hamas's willingness to disarm. As I mentioned, Hamas's willingness to disarm, because disarm does not mean just stop firing. It means surrender your arms. So that may be a bone of contention. At the same time, the Palestinian will fear the interim administration as to they don't know who that administration will be and how they will behave. So that is also a concern, and that is because the trust is fragile between the parties involved over here. Now, what is the implication for India? India has supported the two-state solution. India still supports the two-state solution. That means separate state of Israel and Palestine, which is the right, probably the best middle ground that we can talk about. So India here has to balance or tread very carefully and balance its, let's say, benefits, or you can say the interests in Israel and humanitarian interests with respect to Palestine. So with respect to Palestine, we have the humanitarian interest, and moral high ground with respect to Israel. We have a partnership of economy, economic transaction, trade, science, technology, cutting edge technology specifically. So we need to diplomatically position ourselves in a very balancing manner. So let us see what the outcome of this peace talk is, and subsequently we will discuss the future of Palestine in the subsequent videos. So stay tuned to Legacy IAS Academy. Thank you.